What's up, Buttercup? It is I, it is me, it is she, Barbie P. Welcome back to my channel. And of course, you already know we're going to jump into the video, but I got to give my disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, dietitian, therapist, preacher, none of that. I'm just talking today, okay? Just talking. So, today's video, we are going to be talking about the big back demon. Yep, the big back demon. I know you're like, what is that? Hold on, Buttercup. Stay with me. Let me cook, okay? So, pretty much, the big back demon is really that spirit of gluttony. We talk about overeating, we talk about food addiction, but what about gluttony? That big back demon. In this video, we're going to be really unpacking what the big back demon is beyond the calories and cravings. This isn't about shame. However, it is about awareness, discipline, and taking your power back from that big back demon. So pretty much, y'all already know that saying's been going around, big back. Anyway, but the big back demon is pretty much the spirit of gluttony. So, we call it, emotional eating, binging, or just being a foodie. But, the Bible pretty much calls it gluttony. And that's kind of like a sin nobody talks about. Shh, shh, hush, hush type of thing. And what is gluttony? Of course, it is excess. It is overindulgence, the lack of self-control in the area of consumption. It's not about size. It's about mastery and what is mastering you. And you know what it looks like? Eating past your regular fullness. Always needing something to sip or chew, obsessing over your next meal, hiding in the corner eating, 2-3 desserts, appetizer, 2 entrees. It's just the excess. It's too much. And the reason why gluttony is like spiritually dangerous is because gluttony is putting flesh over faith. It pretty much is saying, I need this more than I need discipline. I need this slice of cake more than I need to get into my word. I need this slice of cake more than I just need to really regulate my emotions, in a sense. And then it can kind of like numb conviction, and it definitely keeps you in a cycle of guilt and broken promises to yourself. You said them, and I said them too. I'll start next Monday. I'll start fresh tomorrow. And what happens? That big back demon has a meal prepared for tomorrow. I remember, Buttercup, especially in the beginning of my weight loss journey, because, I was 300 pounds, 8 ounces, lost 107. But it took me a while to get here. So, when I'm talking because I've been through this thing. I lived through this thing. And there would be so many times I would start my weight loss journey, and it'd be like day 1. And then by day 14, I start sliding back into those old habits. That big back demon is on my back, telling me about all the cravings. Don't you miss this? And you know what the big back demon will always tell me? You should just love yourself for who you are. And I would fall for that. I would really fall for that, because I'm like, you know what? I do love myself for who I am. I am confident. I am this. So if I eat an extra slice of cake, it's okay because I love myself. And then I'm feeling bad. And it's like, why did you eat that? What were you thinking about? Wow, you really have lack of self-control. Now, remind you, the big back demon is the one that's going to entice you with food. It's going to tempt you. It's going to remind you of everything that you used to eat, everything you used to do. And then when you actually eat it, it's like eat the food, and it's like you're eating the food and you're already full, but it's like just eat it all. Eat all of it. I'm going to eat the whole plate. That was something I had to catch myself, especially like back in the day. I would eat something. I'd be like, I want to eat the whole, like in my mind, I'd be like, I'm going to eat the whole plate. I'm already full, but I'm going to eat the whole plate. That's the big back demon, and that's the spirit of gluttony. Okay. So that same spirit that will get you to eat all of the food and all of that is the same spirit that's going to be like, oh, wow, you really ate all of that? Down to that. So it's like it tempts you to do it, but then judges you after you do it. And that's pretty much the guilt and the shame. You feel like, why did I do that? And then also with the big back demon, it feels like you have no sense of control. So like you start eating something and you have to, again, eat the whole thing. I'm going to tell you a big back story from the past. I've been delivered from it. We thanks the Lord. Hallelujah, hallelujah. The Whole Foods has these cinnamon rolls. And when I would be like around my cycle period time, I craved sweets. So I would eat these cinnamon rolls. But it got so bad, y'all. I would get like a 4-pack of these cinnamon rolls. And these aren't the cinnamon rolls that are like those little cute mini rolls. These are the cinnamon rolls that you put in the oven, and it's like a chunk of frosting, but once you put it in the oven, it like melts into the cinnamon roll. Yeah. I had a 4-pack, okay? I would get the 4-pack, and at the beginning of my shift, I would have one, and I'll put it in my locker. I would have one of those cinnamon rolls. Remind you, they are 560 or like either 590 calories per roll. So I would have one of those before my shift. And then if I had like a little break in my shift, like after about an hour or so, I would have another one. And then on my actual lunch break, I would have another cinnamon roll. But I'm going to be honest with you, Buttercup. Really by the second one, or at least like halfway through the second one, I really didn't want it no more. But because it was so sweet and I was like, oh, it tastes so good. I live. Like I would just eat it and I kept craving it. So then by the end of my shift, it would always be like one cinnamon roll left. And I was that person at my job that would just leave that one cinnamon roll in the refrigerator and be like, for free, or like anyone that wants it can take it, on a little sticky note. So that was me. And that is, that big back spirit. And that big back spirit, again, is gluttony. And I feel like I would not have control. And I would like pray, and I would just like wonder all these things as like what is going on. And I would just always have this sense of feeling, like just eating. And then what was crazy too, I knew I had a problem. I probably talked about this in another video, past older video. But I knew it was a problem because it got to a point where I would eat like just large meals. Like I would have like a really good large meal on Sunday, oxtail, rice and peas, mac and cheese, slice of cake, And within an hour, maybe within like 2 hours, I would have this feeling like, I want something sweet, or like, oh, I'm ready to eat again. And I was just like, okay. And it was something I didn't really pay attention to. So I would just kind of keep doing it. So I would pretty much have, like the oxtail meal. And then later on, I would have, like maybe another meal or like a snack or something. Or I would have like Wingstop for dinner. But Buttercup, it got to the point where I would eat a bigger meal, and within another hour and a half, I'm like feeling hungry again. And I said, no. I got to that point. I said, no, this is not normal. This is not it. This is something else is going on. And I didn't know it back then, but that was that big back demon. That was that spirit of gluttony, because how could you be like physically, how could you eat a huge meal and be quote unquote hungry within 2 hours. I didn't go run a marathon. I didn't, go build a fence or, build a house. So I didn't use that energy. I didn't use that food for anything. So there will be no reason for me to be hungry. But that's like addiction. So the big back demon is pretty much the spirit of gluttony, and it has addiction wrapped right on into that as well. So there's a difference between gluttony and enjoyment. You can enjoy the food. You can quote unquote not celebrate with food, but like if you're at a celebration, birthday party, and there's food there, okay. But gluttony is when full food rules you. When you're eating to cope, to distract, or to escape. So I challenge you to ask yourself, am I eating to nourish or am I eating to numb? Am I eating with intention or impulse? And I would say back in the day, I definitely ate with impulse. If I went grocery shopping while I was hungry, it'll be so much just random stuff in the cart, Buttercup. It'll be random stuff. I'm like, why did I get all of that? And then, something for me was cookie butter. The cookie butter and the cookie butter cookies, whatever. If I tasted those cookies and dipped it in the cookie butter, I could not just have like 1 or 3. I would end up eating another period craving I would eat like almost like a whole sleeve of those cookie butter cookies with the spread. And I will say this too. Food can be addicting because a lot of the foods that we are eating, especially if you are in the U.S., unfortunately, a lot of the foods do have like addictive properties. They are made to be addicting, so you can easily fall into the big back spirit. You can easily fall and let that big back demon wrap you up into that spirit of gluttony and addiction. So, yes. But anyway, how to overcome the spirit of gluttony, that big back demon? Invite God to your appetite. Try praying before you eat and ask for self-control. Practice fasting, even if you do short ones, to break the addiction to comfort. Now, Buttercup, this is something I would definitely recommend. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, dietitian, or Jesus, just talking. When I started fasting, and like I will fast for spiritual reasons, but then I will fast for just intermediate fasting because like, hey, we trying to get snatched, There's a difference between fasting to be snatched, meaning like you're just going a period without eating, and not eating. Hold on. There's a difference between intermediate fasting to be snatched, meaning you are purposely like going an extended amount of time without eating. So you can do a 12-hour fast, 14, 16, some people do 18 or 20. But then there's spiritual fasting where you're fasting from whatever you like and you're spending time with the Lord. So there's a difference between that. But anyway, when you practice fasting, you start really knowing what your hunger cues actually are. Like, are you actually hungry or are you being triggered? And that was something for me that if I was triggered, I wanted to eat. But as I continued to fast for spiritual reasons and just intermediate fasting, I started realizing my hunger cues. I'm like, okay, when my stomach feels like it's kissing my kidneys or kissing my back, okay, yeah, now I'm hungry. Now it's time to actually eat something. And then when I eat, I'm not trying to eat until I am full and miserable and cannot walk. I kind of eat to a level of contentment where it's more of I can eat my food and then right before you take a breath, like you done ate and it's like, ooh, you're getting full and you take that type of breath. I don't let myself get to that point. I eat, it's comfortable, and I should be able to go for a walk. After I eat, I should be able to do a light little jog. I should be able to do at least 15 or 20 jumping jacks because again, I'm not eating to the point of being miserable and sick. I'm just eating until I'm actually content. I know my hunger cues and I know my fullness cues. Replace your emotional triggers with healthy coping. So, again, going for your walk, journaling, taking a breath. What I realized, like I said, I can be an emotional eater. And what I do now is instead of whenever I feel triggered, I take that time to meditate, or I'll jump in the gym and I start pumping some iron. And then once I start pumping some iron, working out, I feel a lot better and I feel like my decision making is better. And then whatever I was going through, it's like now I feel as though I can tackle it, if that makes sense, versus feeling emotionally triggered and then going to get something to eat, but then feeling even more triggered because now I overate and I'm over my calories for the third day in a row, and I retried again. This is the fourth Monday I done tried. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the food is never really the answer because it keeps going back to the problem that you haven't really faced. Okay? So I just want to say this video is not about shame. It's not conviction. It's not like I'm trying to condemn you. You're not bad for struggling. You're human. But you have the power through awareness and discipline. Your cravings don't have to control you. With grace and discipline, you can master your appetite before it masters you. Okay? You got this, Buttercup. And I will say this too. Once you start learning your body and learning your habits, it's easier to kind of deal with stuff. So it's like, are you really craving? Or like I said, are you being emotionally triggered? Are you really craving, or is it around your cycle? Like, there's a lot of things that go with it. But anyway, this is my video about the big back demon. Has the big back demon ever latched on to you? If you enjoyed this video, of course, leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, and let's chat it up in the comment section. And until next time, Buttercup, make sure you are minding your business, tending to your own business. Mind and tend to the business that pays you. And if it does not pay you, Buttercup, that means you need to be minding your own business, which is drinking your green juice, going for your walk, and meal prepping your food, because it is a sign of self-love. Until next time, bye.